Hello and welcome to the Google Cloud Data Summit. I'm Rebecca Weekly. I am the VP and a Senior PE here at Intel who runs the Hyperscale Strategy and Execution team for the Data Platform Group. And I am here today to talk to you about the trusted foundation of the cloud. So first, maybe I'll start talking a little bit about this moment in the cloud architecture. So we have been partnering for the last 10 plus years with different partners across the cloud to deliver scale solutions. And really, what does that mean? What has that meant across our portfolio and what we build at Intel? It has really meant focusing on rack and data center level performance and total cost of ownership. It has increasingly meant security, and security having a secure paradigm from the cloud to the edge. It is always about visibility. And so we've done a lot of work in partnership with Google in particular in the domain space of telemetry to increase visibility, reliability of workloads operating at scale and when in migration. It's also been wonderful partnerships in the domain space of power, whether immersive cooling or some form of liquid cooling, and certainly in perf per watt optimization. I think more than anything over the last 2 years, as more customers come to the cloud of different backgrounds, we've increasingly had concerns about system downtime. I was actually working with a friend of mine who is a very large cloud user, and she was saying, as we design our platforms to take advantage of either our on-prem footprint or our public cloud footprint, it's the difference between sheep and dogs. Sheep, these are the VMs we manage in the cloud. You very much need to understand that they are there, but it's not like your dog that you're going to feed every evening and you know exactly what their schedule is, right? You have to think about your environments differently, and you want to think about your uptime in a different fashion and be resilient for it in the methodology that you bring to the cloud. But I think it's one of the interesting areas, and we'll get into that a little bit more with Google in how well they've sort of created a seamless process for that hybrid environment. Memory total cost of ownership is an increasingly important, complex issue. There's a lot of interesting innovations happening across the ecosystem in this domain space to solve big mem capacity problems, bandwidth concerns. We will continue to see a ton of innovation in this domain space. It's both total cost of ownership, security, and reliability. How do we bring all of that together with all the expertise in the industry? And then the last area where we've had some wonderful partnerships, and I will get into it a little bit more, is in the domain space of sustainability. There's so much that we can do at Intel around showing our carbon and water usage in the generation of our products, but also in collaborating with our partners in the carbon that is generated and embedded and used throughout life of our products. So we've done a ton of work in that life cycle, in the reporting mechanisms, and in how we partner together. And I am super excited to talk about that a little bit more today. So everything that we've done for the last 10 years in working with cloud providers, this last year broke every single paradigm, I would say. The pandemic basically made every single company consider what their remote work policy needed to be. It made them look at their disaster recovery plan, their business continuity plans, recognizing that this pandemic was, a once in 100-year situation that is still ongoing for many, many people across the world. But it wasn't going to be the only time that they would have to deal with remote work or potential outages in areas that they care about. And certainly, wildfires last year, extreme cold weather that happened earlier this year has continued to create the reasons for why customers want flexibility. And one of the wonderful things that public cloud can offer to companies, just given the geographies, the availability zones, the redundancy that is built into a cloud ecosystem. What else has changed in this domain space of cloud computing? Well, certainly the digital acceleration of e-commerce. My grandmother has never, before 2020, ordered anything off of the internet, never would have seen it, but has become an avid Instacart user over the last year. I think many of us have gone through that transition. People who did not necessarily think they were going to be that person have become that person, and now honestly cannot imagine living any other way. So it's at a CAGR of 11%, $6.4 trillion industry by 2024, and that is driving the predominant number of cycles in the public cloud is really around that e-commerce explosion, the ads and the placement associated with it. Edge computing was one of the domain spaces that actually accelerated during COVID-19. That connectivity, 5G build out, huge amount of work that has happened throughout 2020 and into 2021. So by 2022, we are estimating that 50% of enterprise generated data will be created, not we, Gartner, will be created outside of the data center or cloud. And that data is the insights that will lead to you having a better and more productive experience, regardless of if it's in on-prem or in the public cloud. But certainly I would say the AI adoption, and that's the last point here, 85% of enterprises are looking at AI adoption and production to get better insights out of the data they are collecting so they can make more informed business decisions. And this is really an area where I think Google has done an incredible amount of work to deliver services that allow you to think about operating your business in a different fashion. And certainly we at Intel are ecstatic to be able to help them in that journey. So Intel in Google Cloud, which is of course why I'm here today to talk a little bit about what we're doing together. And I'm so proud of what we do together. It's really about building optimization for infrastructure modernization. So we have wonderful compute instances within Google Cloud, the C2, N2, N1, M2, and M1 instances, right? Compute optimized all the way through to memory optimized. They're really focused on HPC and AI optimization, high-end compute in those C instances, and also perf per dollar in the N and M instances for memory as well. This is critical, and the engagements that we've had with our customers have gone for everything from backup and disaster recovery, like I was mentioning before, to high performance computing and content delivery. There's a huge number of opportunities that we can do together. We have a deep and profound partnership in enterprise workloads. We have a wonderful partnership with VMware. We have a wonderful partnership with Microsoft, SAP, Oracle DB, obviously GCE, and our bare metal solutions on top of Google Cloud. There's also an Intel Select Solution partnership with Anthos, Google's Anthos, which was really about simplifying the hybrid multi-cloud journey for customers with tested and verified solutions that are going to allow you to operate the same kinds of environments, whether it's the cloud architecture on-prem or flexing into the public cloud. And then, of course, very recently, we announced our partnership for telco solutions with Google Cloud. And this is really Intel reference designs that we've been working on with various network partners for years. I mean, truly a decade in this domain space to accelerate 5G, LTE, and edge, and to really make sure that enterprises can operate more efficiently for telco workloads. So lots of amazing, fabulous partnership. It's really, really about how we're helping modernize applications together, whether that's business intelligence using Looker or what's happening in, even just Firebase and domains like that, where we are able to drive with Intel solutions and compute optimization. Now, Intel is enabling Google Cloud from the cloud to edge. This is really a mapping of all the different regions. We're in 24 regions. We're in points of presence across the world, edge nodes and interconnects. So those availability zones all over the world with Google, with Intel. And I am ecstatic to be able to say that we will very soon see our Intel's Ice Lake newest scalable third gen processor coming to Google Cloud as an N2 instance. And that really will enable our customers to access the better performance, the significantly better performance that they will talk about very soon with their private preview launch in the cloud with Ice Lake. So Ice Lake has been a journey. It's been a wonderful, wonderful journey to bring crypto acceleration to bring AI acceleration at scale to our end users. And I am really ecstatic to see what Google will do, bringing that to users without any kind of a porting risk or challenge. It's going to be right there with your N2 instances already available. So really excited about it. But we do more than just give processors to Google. We partner really deeply with Google Cloud's end customers through years of working in this ecosystem, working directly with partners, co-innovating on 5G solutions, co-innovating to do optimizations with technologists in every major ISV in the country, in every country. We are doing a lot of engineering partnerships, and we bring that into Google Cloud through our Center of Excellence. So we do engineering collaborations upfront to test GCP instances and to help make sure they have best performance on Intel. We will help with VM assessments, TCO analysis, and when you're looking at migration decisions, we can help you look through your economics in both scenarios. We also do direct access for Intel engineers for workload optimization. And we also provide our Intel software tools, our optimized libraries, as well as our performance analysis tools to really help end users get the best experience of Intel products through the public cloud. This work is the developer ecosystem. Our new development ecosystem is the cloud. It's not just on-prem, and that's why we are so committed to our partnership with Google and to our end users in the public cloud. And of course, there are GCP credits available for your migration efforts. So Intel is co-funding efforts with GCP to help you look at your options to come from an on-prem footprint to the public cloud and really understand what it can bring for you. And maybe none of these experiences will be complete unless you actually get a chance to hear from other customers. I wish they could actually speak to you directly, but these are some of my favorite journeys that have happened recently with GCP with our customers. So we went through a detailed partnership with Cardinal Health. And this really was, they have an active SAP solution. They were doing it on-prem. They were constrained in terms of their memory capacity. They were not seeing what they needed to see to be able to deliver to their business effectively. So they came to Google Cloud thinking, okay, help me understand how I can run SAP better so that I can get growth and optimization and scale and make sure that I'm doing the right things to deliver to our end users a healthier lifestyle. And we were able to work together with an optimized SAP instance for a 12 terabyte virtualized environment for them on GCP. Lush, which I really know as the people who make bath bombs for my children, who they always steal. They were technically my bath bombs. But Lush is a fantastic cosmetics provider who, again, just like in the previous case, Cardinal Health came through SAP. What we saw with Lush was that they are using Datatonic, and really exciting product and solution out in the ecosystem, runs everywhere. But we were able to work with them to optimize Datatonic on top of GCP and provide engineering support so that they could take an image classification model that was used on a mobile device while they were going through their actual store to help have fewer labels, to not have so much waste in their stores, but to provide this very unique end user experience where they were fully immersed in here's where I am and here's what I want to buy and here are my kinds of preferences. So this kind of end user experience in retail, this is where we haven't even begun to scratch the surface of the ways in which the cloud will unlock end user experiences that are exciting. And again, with Intel's DL Boost capabilities, this is standard processor. You don't need an accelerator. You don't need an accelerated instance with a bunch more memory and all these other factors, which are quite expensive. On a regular general purpose processor, you can get 4x more performance on any kind of a recommendation system, or in this case, an image classification model. And it's one of the things we love most about being able to partner with end users in the public cloud. This last one was really with the Burwood Group, which is an IT consulting group. And they were able to bring the C2 VMs from our second gen Intel processor into their overall workload mix. And what they were able to see was that their critical jobs, that the processes that were basically how they ran their back end of their business, took 82% less time to complete and were at 42% lower cost. Fundamentally, when you come to the public cloud, your expectation is you're going to have available capacity and computation whenever you need it with huge flexibility. But ideally, you don't want it to cost more. That's the goal. So, when we are able to do these kinds of partnerships through giving better and more performant processors to end users at the times they need them, when they need them, through partners like GCP, that is when we get the best of flexible capacity and wonderful compute capabilities. So these are just a sampling. There's a ton of opportunities and customer spotlights on our Intel.com site. But GCP has been a fantastic partner for us in this journey, and we love doing this work together. So like I said, our third generation Intel Xeon Scalable processor launched in April, and we are coming into preview at the end of May here with GCP. What you will see is that your N2 instances are upgraded without any kind of a necessary migration. So Ice Lake will be available everywhere N2 is available, ready to go. And what does our third gen processor bring? Really a lot more performance. So we have a large improvement in both DL Boost as well as our capabilities around crypto. So there's built-in crypto acceleration, and who is in the cloud without doing some form of SSL handshake or some form of secure encryption? I'm really excited for that capability. I mean, the cloud runs on a secure backbone, or at least we would like it to. It will be better for all of us, especially on those e-commerce workloads. Other areas that we are really focused on for this processor that I'm so proud of are reliability at scale. Huge amount of work that has happened with both our RAS features as well as everything that we've done in the memory domain space. I already mentioned our crypto acceleration. I also should mention our Xeon SGX capabilities. So this is our first intercept in the scalable performance product line. We've had this in our E3 product line for a while, but this is our first ability to bring forward the SGX, the secure enclave technology that has been in our E3 processor to our scalable processor line. And that will unlock so much more memory capacity that can be secured and able to be utilized at scale. And I'm so excited about the different healthcare applications that have come to use SGX, fraud detection algorithms that are starting to look at much more secure capabilities to ensure that they're not getting spoofed. There's so much good work in the domain space of secure computing that a tool like SGX can help us bring to market, at TEE in general. And then, of course, faster access to large databases. So everything that we do, obviously, with much more general capacity within our CPU, but also wonderful opportunities with Optane PMEM, so our persistent memory technology. That brings even more memory capacity to our processor and allows much larger data sets to be brought near to the processing capability, less networking overhead, more ability to get to results faster. So it's a great processor. I can't wait to have you try it through our GCP partners. And then our last, I would say, at least for today, topic to hit was really around collectively building far more sustainable data centers. This is a commitment that Google has, this is a commitment Intel has, and something that we are talking about even more. Not to be, negative about the situation, but if you actually look at the semiconductor industry and the overall IT industry, 51 billion tons of CO2 are produced every year in this industry. That's shocking. ICT energy consumed is predicted to be 20% of the worldwide energy usage by 2030. For the sake of our children, for the sake of our air, this is something we have to lean in on together. And I'm very excited to say that we are doing a lot with Google and more to come. So we are working on not just our sustainability goals as a company to fully recycle all the water that is used in our manufacturing processes. Obviously, we've always been deeply committed to conflict-free minerals in our usage of our products and our building of our products. And in our carbon, we are very detailed in our carbon usage. We are the most efficient in terms of our recycling and capabilities in our manufacturing processes. And we have huge goals. We're very well on the way towards those goals in moving more and more of the energy that we use in the creation of our products to sustainable sources. So if you want to learn more about that, please read our RISE goals. There's tons that we've put out there in terms of where Intel is going with our manufacturing footprint, and we are very committed to reducing this impact on carbon emissions in the world. We are also partnering with Google and with OCP to drive data center best practices for the operation of our products so that we can reduce carbon emissions in the actual functioning of processors. Unfortunately, we can build the most sustainable products in the world, but that's less than 30% of the actual carbon emissions that come from this 20% that will be the case by 2030. So if we don't solve the operations challenges and give best practices, we will not solve this problem. And finally, we are working actively on reusability and recyclability. So we've got programs in our client business and we've got programs in our data center business to extend life in sustainable, high quality fashion so that the carbon that is embedded in products can be amortized over longer periods of time versus generating new carbon. So there's always a trade-off there between the efficiencies of new products and the carbon that's in the existing products, but it's critical. And then we also work to recycle every component. I already mentioned water, but throughout our data center cycle together. This will take industries working together, countries working together, and wonderful partners like Google working together to solve these problems. And we are fully committed between public consortia as well as cooling innovations across the ecosystem in more sustainable fashions to make sure that the world is the kind of place we all want to live by 2030. So Intel and Google Cloud, we love working together. We are so here to be the trusted platform foundation of your future and your journey. Please contact us if you would like to partner with us on workload optimization, migration support, just making sure you get the best out of Intel products in Google's cloud. Thank you so much.